I hope you guys know that I check the comments section damn near daily, honestly. For the most part, I do respond to a lot of you guys, and sometimes I simply don't for one reason or another. Most of the time it's because I'm too busy with my real life job. However, yesterday when I posted I found a military bunker in the woods in Massachusetts, which is an original story that I had written many months ago, and I just never thought I would upload it. I uploaded it yesterday, and I looked at some of the comments. Now, Leroy Porkins, it's a great username. He's been posting every once in a while on some of my videos, and he said, I saw a Kmart in Ohio, and I'm like, damn, this is good. I've done this before. An alligator from space, if you remember from several years ago. I think it was called an astrogator. Well, the original story was Astrogator. It was written by somebody else, and then a lot of people started making comments about the video, and then I decided, well, I'll make my own story about it. Anyway, Leroy Porkins said, I saw a Kmart in Ohio. And I'm like, holy crap, Kmart. Well, I remember Kmart's when I was younger. I remember Kmart's very vividly because my mother and I, around Christmas, used to shop at Kmart's all the time. So I said, don't dare me. And then I got thinking, I'm like, well, it's Christmas. I'll put out a small story. And then I wrote, never mind, it's happening. Make sure to watch tomorrow. And he said, I will. So make sure everybody says to Leroy Porkins in this video, thank you. Anyway, let's get on to a little bit of Christmas nostalgia. A little blue light special. The snow was falling thick in clumps as Jake's Honda Civic crawled along I-70 towards Zanesville. His parents would kill him if he was late for Christmas Eve dinner. But the weather wasn't cooperating. Neither was his bank account. He needed presents for half of his family. Through the swirling white, a familiar red sign caught his eye. No way, it couldn't be. Kmart. Jake blinked hard, but the sign remained, its weathered letters glowing against the gunmetal sky. He hadn't seen a Kmart in years. They'd all closed down, victims of Amazon in progress. Yet here one stood, just off the exit near the famous Y Bridge. The parking lot was empty except for his car, the asphalt cracked and sprouting weeds through the snow. But the store's windows blazed with fluorescent light. Mannequins posed in acid-washed jeans and members-only jackets behind the glass. The automatic doors wheezed open with a sound like a dying animal. The blast of warm air that hit him smelled of plastic, dust, and something else. Something sweet and medicinal, like cough syrup gone bad. But inside the Kmart, it was 1985. Great, Jake muttered to himself. I've either traveled through time, where I'm having the world's worst acid flashback. Mom always said last-minute shopping would be the death of me, but I don't think this is what she meant. The store's layout was exactly as he remembered from his childhood. The register lined up at the front, their green digital displays blinking in the fluorescent light. The floor tiles, though impossibly cleaned, still had that distinctive brown and tan pattern that all Kmart shared. $150 for an NES? Jake scoffed under his breath. And I thought scalpers on eBay were bad, though I guess being trapped in retail hell is pretty solid excuse for price gouging. The toy section sprawled before him, a time capsule of 80s excess. A pristine Nintendo Entertainment System dominated one end, complete with Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt bundles stacked high. The original price tag read $149.99. Garbage pail kids filled an entire rack, their grotesque faces grinning from behind pristine plastic. Jake recognized Atom Bomb, the rarest card, sitting right in front as if it had been waiting for him. Next to them, rows of Cabbage Patch Kids stared with vacant eyes, their adoption papers crisp and ready to be filled out. But there was something wrong with their faces. In the flickering fluorescent light, their plastic features seemed to shift and change, like wax melting and reforming. One doll, dressed in a Christmas outfit, slowly turned its head to follow his movement down the aisle. "Welcome to Kmart. Attention shoppers, we have a blue light special in aisle 7. The voice that crackled over the intercom sounded wrong. Too flat, too mechanical, like a recording that had been played too many times. But what really made Jake's skin crawl was the music playing softly in the background. Not Christmas carols, but Wake Me Up Before You Go Go by Wham. Except it was playing at 3/4 of the speed, George Michael's voice dragging like molasses. "Well, let me guess," Jake said, trying to mask his fear with sarcasm. "You don't offer Amazon price matching." The joke died in his throat as Carol's smile widened impossibly. Movement caught his eye at the end of the aisle. Something dark and fluid ducked behind a display of Transformers. It moved like oil floating across the floor, but left no trace of its passage. A clerk appeared suddenly, pushing a cart. Her blue vest was crisp. Her name tag, Carol, perfectly aligned. But her movements were jerky, mechanical, and her smile never reached her eyes. Those eyes, they were like frozen pools, reflecting everything but revealing nothing. "Can I help you find anything?" Her voice skipped like a scratched record. "We have a lovely selection of He-Man figures in aisle 12. "I'm just browsing," Jake managed, backing away, his sneakers squeaking against the freshly waxed floor. "Perfect," Jake whispered. "Not only is it a haunted Kmart, it's possessed by the world's most aggressive retail manager. I bet this thing used to work at Spirit Halloween." More employees emerged from between the aisles, each wearing the same vacant smile, each moving with that same unsettling precision. They were arranging displays, straightening items, going through the motions of retail work, but their movements seemed choreographed, like a dance they've been performing for decades. "Look," Jake said, backing away. "I appreciate the dedication to customer service, but I'm more of a Target person these days." The darkness rippled angrily at the mention of its retail rival. The dark thing he'd seen earlier slithered behind him, always just out of clear view. Sometimes it looked like a shadow, sometimes like static on an old TV, and sometimes like something with too many limbs trying to fold itself into a human shape. In electronics, rows of VCRs still in their boxes lined the shelves. The demonstration TV played A Christmas Story on an endless loop, but the color was wrong, making everyone's skin look green and sickly. And in the reflection of the screen, Jake saw it clearly for the first time. A creature made of shifting darkness, wearing a Kmart vest like a second skin, its name tag changing names every few seconds. He needed to leave. now. But as he turned toward the exit, he saw them, all the employees, standing in a perfect line blocking his path. Their name tags glinted under the fluorescent lights. Carol, Susan, Bob, Mike, Linda. Their smiles were wider now, showing too many teeth. And behind them, the darkness of the creatures writhed and twisted, wearing all their faces at once. If I survive this, Jake panted as he ran. I'm doing all my shopping online. At least 2-day free shipping never tried to steal my soul. Please stay, Carol said, her voice skipping like a scratched record. The blue light special is about to begin, and everything must go. Everything must go. The overhead lights flickered and died, leaving only the pulsing blue light that began to rotate above aisle 7. In its electric glow, Jake could see that the employees' faces weren't just vacant. They were all translucent, like wax paper held up to a light. Behind their skin, shadow shapes writhed and twisted, all connected to the larger darkness that now flowed freely across the ceiling. You know, Jake called out as he searched for an escape. Most stores just use loyalty card programs. This whole eternal damnation pitch feels a bit desperate. Clean up on aisle me, Jacob muttered, gripping the shopping cart, and I better not get charged for damages. Everything must go, they said in unison, taking a synchronized step forward. Everyone must stay. But Jake ran. He was smarter than that bullshit. Past the toy department where the Cabbage Patch Kids had turned their heads to watch him flee, their soft bodies now writhing with dark tentacles. Past the Nintendo display where Mario's sprite had transformed into something unspeakable on every screen. Past the Garbage Pail Kids rack where Atom Bomb's mushroom cloud had become a portal leaking that same darkness. But the automatic doors wouldn't open on his way out. He could hear them behind him, their footsteps perfectly in sync, their voices joining together in a distorted version of "It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas." The darkness flowed between their legs, reaching for him with tendrils that seemed made of old receipts and price tags. And that blue light that we all remember so well strobed faster and faster. Now Jake grabbed a shopping cart that was right next to him and rammed it into the doors. The glass shattered and winter air rushed in, carrying the snow and salvation. He dove through the opening, feeling the glass tear at his jacket. His Honda started on the first try. As he peeled out of the parking lot, he glanced in his rearview mirror. The Kmart stood dark and silent, no sign of the horror within. But he could have sworn he saw them all standing at the broken doors, their faces pressed against the remaining glass, still smiling those terrible smiles. And behind them, filling the entire store like ink in the water, the darkness wore all their faces at once. The next morning, Jake drove past the exit again. There was no Kmart, only an empty lot covered in fresh snow, unmarked by any footprint or tire tracks. But in his back seat, he found a receipt printed on faded paper, dated December 24th, 1985. And at the bottom, in what looked like ink but felt like shadow, were the words, "Thank you for shopping at Kmart. Please come back soon. We'll be waiting. Everything must go. Everything must stay." Jake never did finish his Christmas shopping that year, and to this day, whenever he passes an empty retail lot, he swears he could see something dark moving behind the for lease signs, wearing a blue vest and a name tag that changes with every blink. Now, I don't know about everybody else, but my childhood memories are very vivid this time of year, and yes, I did go to Kmart and Ames and James Way and shop all those different stores for gifts for my family. New Year's Eve is traditional in my family that we get together and we have a little fun and enjoy each other's company, and I did just that. So, I wish everybody, again, for the third time this month, a Happy New Year and a wonderful New Year. I hope you really do take the time to find it within yourself to reach out to family members and to say that I love you. I love you all. Have a very Merry Christmas.